Talk to me about your relationship with Destiny or Steven.
That's a girl's name. No.
That is a
Uh,
girl's name.
I watched him way back when. Like, I must have been 17 or something when I started watching him. I mean, before he did politics or anything, it was just StarCraft back then. And I liked StarCraft a lot too, so that helped. But anyway, I mean, obviously, it'd be kind of silly of me to pretend that, I would have gotten into the streaming were I not a fan of his. Because obviously, if you're a fan of a live streamer long enough, you'll think, oh, well, hell, that looks fun. When I started streaming too, it was crossovers from his community that were, visiting and donating and such early on, which was what sort of prompted me to take it more seriously and eventually ramp up and get a community of my own. So, yeah, no, it was the bedrock upon which the fortress got built.
Right. How integral would you say that Steven and your, because you guys were, from my understanding, good friends as well. Like as you were growing as a streamer, you guys interacted a lot. It seems like you guys kind of mutually shared platforms, collaborated. I don't know. In my experience, just to make sure your audience is fully aware if they've never seen me before, I'm very much like in that sphere right now. Stephen is absolutely supporting my career. I would say dominantly owe my career to him at this point. How much of that was true for you?
The Destiny's Jobs program was still well in effect when my career kicked off, but we really weren't friends. I know this is turned into some kind of like back and forth like contention or whatever, but we never really talked that much. I think the extent of our interactions were it began when he was streaming on some Gamergate related Anita Sarkeesian feminism thing. I think he was talking about like the definition of feminism as used by a subreddit called Shit Reddit Says, which used to be a very relevant feminist Gamergate era subreddit. It was a while back. Anyway,
Yeah.
his Skype handle was public, so I spam messaged him a bunch and argued with him for about it. And I must have sounded awfully nasally back then because
Why?
I was just so young. My voice deepened a
Oh,
lot, like past puberty finishing. And I argued with him a good bit past that point. But we didn't really like talk interpersonally. I think he DM'd me one time to wish me a happy birthday in the like 6 or 7 years. But apart from that, it wasn't really friends so much as me admiring his platform and his debate talent, which of course he obviously has an affinity for. And of course I'd be annoying in his chat and the like. And he'd banned me from his chat a couple of times too, because I was a big feminist way back when. So I was annoying in his chat to the point where his own mods would ban me just for being there. But one of his mods was more sympathetic to me, so wrote some code to get me auto unbanned whenever they would ban me. Like I would say something pro-feminist, and then they'd ban me, and then I'd like pop right back up, and they didn't have like the admin code or whatever, so I would just sort of be there, invulnerable. And then I think past a point I annoyed the hell out of Destiny, and he banned me, and of course I just got immediately unbanned because he just used the regular ban feature on me, and he got
mhm.
increasingly angry on stream as he banned me like dozens of times in a minute before, like, finally, eventually he realized what was going on and did the admin too. I think I might have just left, actually, because past a point, it was like, I was just sort of standing there invulnerably while he was, like, smashing the keyboard or something. I have no, this happened so long ago. That's how I remember it happening, though. But, and then I popped back up and left again, then popped back up. So I've just been kind of like, living in the walls of the DGG community for a good while, until, like, 2019.
Okay. So in your view, did he like help promote your career at all, or was it more like your own self-work within his space?
Well, a lot of it was just the convenience of having people in his community who already knew me. So even if he never did or said a thing, like it still would have been his platform that allowed for my platform to kick off, you know? I don't think he
Mm.
he might have a couple of times. I don't know if he promoted me so much as like I was considered like a favored chatter of the stream. So there might have been a couple of times where it was like, oh yeah, he's over there doing his own thing. I don't think there was like any collaboration, but I could misremember that. There might be stuff I don't remember there.
That's fair. So you would have never considered him like your personal friend or anything. So when people talk about like the burning of the bridge or the fall, like the fallout part of the relationship, it sounds like the conception of the public at least is that there was some level of like kinship and friendship, and that is now over. Would you say that that's a correct narrative, or would you disagree with that on your side?
No, I think that was deliberately dishonest on Destiny's part. I don't think he considered me a friend. I know I didn't him. I considered him like a content creator that I respected, you know? And there was definitely like a parasocial thing there. Like I watched him for like a decade, of course, you know. But for me, like from my side of things, when we fell out, to me it felt like the parasociality was on my part. Like from my perspective, it was me liking him less, and that meant something to me. And it felt like but it didn't feel like a two-way thing, if that makes any sense. You know what I mean? Like it wouldn't have made sense for him to go, "Oh, I've disappointed you. Haha, how dare you feel that way." It didn't feel like there was a justification for some kind of mutual sense of betrayal there. But I don't know. It was the messiest and most protracted series of disagreements I've ever had on this blighted platform. You know, for most people that I argue with or disagree with, it's usually pretty straightforward, but I think he kind of revels in disagreeing with me, which turns it into this interminable process, you know? Which is why I mostly don't engage with him no more.
Mm. So you don't think by any chance like he was just like hurt or something like that?
It's totally possible. I don't want to like discount that. I just
Yeah.
remember a couple of specific times when the ways that he was talking about like trying to argue or prove that we were friends or whatever, that felt kind of weird to me. Like we never chatted or anything. I don't know how you can be friends with someone without casually chatting, especially if you've been each other GMs for years, you know? That's just seems like kind of an odd definition of friend to me. But again, I was never really gunning to be the man's friend. I liked his, you know, his streaming. You know, I liked him as a professional. I respected him. So that was more the nature of the relationship to me.
Mm. Okay. So when kind of all that fallout happened, I believe in my understanding it was about like the Kyle Rittenhouse stuff and your girlfriend and like a head mod made a clip of him or something like that. Was that what initiated the fallout on, at least as far as you understand it?
I don't even. I know that was a big part of it. I don't even remember. I think it was like I had a roommate who reposted a clip, who isn't a mod, but reposted a clip on Twitter, and during a live stream chat, my partner at the time said that some of the stuff Destiny was saying was TOS, which it ended up being because he got banned for it, or like that he should be banned for it or something. I think that was, I don't know. That thing got blown out into such a gigantic like cry bully kind of deal or whatever. There was a lot of wacky behavior going on there. I'll tell you what. I wish I remembered all of it though. See, kind of a problem here is that again, if I remember the reasons why I don't get along with any other online creator, there's usually like one or two or three events that I can kind of nail it down to. But the Destiny thing was like this years long, like everything blown up and like here have a debate on a debate on a debate on a debate on a this issue turns into this issue, and do we argue over whether or not these two people talking about the recollection of this event? I don't have the memory for this. I genuinely don't. I remember things being genuinely pretty wacky back then, though.
Okay. So is someone you see somebody that at the beginning we talked about like there's certain people that you don't want to engage in with anymore because it's kind of like a black tar pit. Does Steven now fall into that category
Oh,
for you? If somebody you just don't want to interact with?
he's the blackest tar pit by far. He's because he really revels like it to a weird extent in the disagreement. Like not even necessarily in the disagreement. It's the what would the right term be? I don't know, man. It just feels kind of emotional for him. I don't know. He's got his own things going on. I don't know. Wacky guy.
What's interesting to me is kind of the desperation between how you describe you and Concha's relationship and you and Destiny's relationship, because it feels like was a similar level of overlap, at least as far as like content and viewerships and collaboration. But it seems like for you, I guess I didn't ask, did burning the bridge with Steven, like, did that suck for you? Like, were you like kind of disappointed and sad to see like that relationship, whatever kind of relationship you characterize as, which seemed mostly there was kind of a weird tension because you guys were always fighting, but you also always collabed together. So it was like there's some people it's I don't know if you have these friendships, but like friendships where you always fight and you also always get along.
Now,
And you like whatnot.
it wasn't really a mutual thing like that. The bridge burning with Destiny wore out its welcome like 1% of the way into the process of the bridge burning down. It was like trying to burn down the Golden Gate Bridge with like a sparkler or something like that, or like a you know it took way the fuck to. I guess it's unfortunate that he is the way he is now in almost every sense. But like that was, you know, he I guess he made that as evidently not something that I could feel bad about as possible, like pretty early on. The Contra thing was just the one day though, you know. If Contra had
Yeah.
spent like 2 years being like psychotic at me or something through their platform, then maybe I would probably feel different about that.
I think it's because you and Steven are similar on like one really important aspect for interpersonal tension, which is
We both have
neither of you
beards.
ever back down. Yeah, and your beards.
Oh yeah, well, obviously in that respect, I mean, I wouldn't have liked Destiny for so long and watched his content for so long if there weren't some like character similarities there, right?
Right.
Yeah, that obviously
And
the
some
beard, of course.
respect as well, right? Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's you know, he kind of brought about the online debate space as it exists right now, which is remarkable. I don't know how much he's doing that now. I don't watch his content anymore. It seems like he does more like drama stuff. Like I don't know if it's quite like what's his name? The gnome. What's his name? Oh, it's the guy with the pointy beard. The other gnome. Keemstar. Right. I don't know if it's the other gnome. Right. I don't know if it's like that tier or whatever. But it seems like it's pretty drama oriented. Obviously, Contra's doing like the same thing now that she has been for years prior, and I hope she keeps it up. You know, I've always thought she's the best video essayist of the RedTube space. Zach with the $2. Destiny is watching watching this stream. Lol. Yeah, obviously. There's literally nothing Destiny enjoys more than watching me talk about him. It's obsessive. Of course he would watch that.